know that there are lots of municipalities that they are trying now to start their own energy community, but they don't know how to do it. We are going to start to try to find solutions together.
I think they have a really important role, the municipalities, for the commitment with the citizens to create the energy communities, to give benefits for all the community.
Not only the citizens benefiting from the actual deployment of the energy communities, but also you will have them take a significant part in the decision-making process of the energy system of the future.
I'm Ana Antunes from Copernico. Copernico is the first renewable energy cooperative in Portugal, and we are still the only one. And with this event, I hope that in the near future we can have other cooperatives and other communities and energy communities in Portugal.
Vila is a small village in the north of Portugal which is trying to create a solar quarter amongst its public services and its own NGOs. So basically we're trying to gather around the firefighters, the social services and the municipalities' public services as well, planning to install a group of solar panels on top of public buildings that are serving the public services locally. So basically it's locally led, locally implemented and locally solving problems of energy sustainability.
The Hub Criativo do Beato, it's a project from the municipalities, so it's a place dedicated to entrepreneurship, to creativity, to innovation, and it's a renovation of a site that used to be the factory of the military. We had the opportunity to apply for these funds from ER grants and to develop inside a living lab that has several sub-projects inside. All the buildings had already the intention to have at least those that were where it was possible to do so, to have own generation means, and the project just brings this idea that they should look together as a community.
Being even harder at some points was those kind of discussions where you need to sit down with the boards of all the organizations, and even more harder at some point was the moment that you need to discuss this as an investment plan with the municipality and with all the partners, because at some point you're obviously interested in the savings, but it's very important to figure out the numbers and the investment that's going in.
In the private sector, of course, what we have is they are economical agents. They want to have their profits on the first line, and what we have to devise is this model where they can feel that they have a higher benefit of being together than being alone.
I feel like this could be a project that might mobilize citizens to implement it in their own neighborhoods. The idea here is that, okay, we're doing this with NGOs and with the municipality, but we're doing this in a way that we'll be able to provide information and data about what we're saving, what's the cost, and what's the real life return of this kind of solutions. The social and sports NGO that's in the project as well serves a wide variety of purposes. For instance, the NGO serves as a daycare for children and also a day center for elderly, which in total direct beneficiaries we're talking about 100 people, plus about 20 people working there daily, plus the social services that are provided not only in the village but in the surrounding villages. So we're talking about hundreds of families. And on top of this, the NGO as well is very central in terms of sports and culture. It's very important to have the community's leaders support, so that people can get it as a relevant and interesting idea, and not as some group of people's good idea for the community, but as a community's new prospect for the local development.
What we are now doing is engaging all these private stakeholders in order to create this sense of community and in order to understand which is the business model that will have more acceptability from everyone and willingness to participate. We have been looking at both, to collective self-consumption, where we don't need such a formalization, but also to a different model where a legal entity, probably a cooperative, will be established, because we want to have this idea of access of others to this community that could go beyond the site itself, could be involving the vulnerable consumers that are around the site, for instance. This is something that we are already thinking about. And for instance, it could be interesting to have as part of the social responsibility of these companies, to have part of the benefit that comes out from this community shared with these vulnerable communities.
It's a really interesting event, because we talk about the ambition of Portugal on the energy transition, with the neutrality, and of course the contribution of the energy communities for this transition.
I think we still have some hurdles and some barriers to overcome, and I definitely hope for that this event can contribute to soften those hurdles and those barriers.